Dr. Maya Stone wiped the sweat from her forehead as she finished treating another patient. The small medical clinic on Haven's Rest space station was always busy. People came from all over the galaxy, running from wars and looking for help. Maya had worked here for 3 years now. She was one of the few humans who chose to live so far from Earth. Most humans stayed close to home, but Maya wanted to help people who had nowhere else to go. The space station floated between two huge alien empires that had been fighting for hundreds of years. The Galactic Hegemony controlled the eastern part of the galaxy. They looked like giant bugs with hard shells and many arms. The Void Empire ruled the west. They were like lizards that walked on 2 legs and had sharp teeth. Both empires treated smaller alien races like toys. They used them to fight their wars and took their planets when they wanted them. Many aliens tried to escape to places like Haven's Rest. Maya was cleaning her tools when the door to her clinic burst open. 2 aliens carried someone between them. The person they carried had long, pointed ears and pale skin. It was an elf. "Help her, please," one of the aliens said. "She is dying." Maya quickly cleared a bed and told them to put the elf down. She had never seen an elf before. Most elves lived far away in something called the Sylvan Coalition. They kept to themselves and rarely left their home worlds. The elf was a woman, with silver hair and green eyes. She was unconscious and breathing hard. Maya could see she was badly hurt, but the worst injury was on her back. Where the elf should have had wings, there was only one. The left wing was gone completely. The right wing was still there, but it was badly damaged. Maya had heard that elves had wings, but she had never seen them before. These were not like bird wings. They were made of both living tissue and metal parts that glowed with soft light. The wing looked like someone had built it using both biology and advanced technology that Maya did not understand. "What happened to her?" Maya asked as she began checking the elf's vital signs. "Hegemony soldiers caught her," one of the aliens replied. "They tortured her for information. When she would not talk, they cut off her left wing and damaged the right one." Maya felt sick. She had seen many injuries from the war, but this was especially cruel. For elves, wings were not just for flying. Maya had read that they were connected to their life force somehow. She worked quickly to stop the bleeding and give the elf medicine for pain. But as she examined the damaged wing more closely, Maya realized this was beyond anything she had ever seen. The wing was not just organic tissue with some metal parts. It was something much more complex. The metal pieces seemed to be alive, pulsing, with energy. There were tiny wires that looked more like veins, carrying some kind of glowing fluid. Maya had studied alien biology for years, but this was completely different. The technology in the wing was older and more advanced than anything either empire used. It seemed to respond to the elf's thoughts and emotions. "I need to talk to Commander Cross," Maya told the aliens who had brought the elf. "Can you wait here and watch her?" They nodded. Maya hurried through the station's corridors to find the commander. Commander Vera Cross was in the security office, looking at reports on her computer screen. She was a tough woman who had served in the human military for 20 years before coming to Haven's Rest. "We have a problem," Maya said as she entered the office. Cross looked up. "What kind of problem?" "I have an elf in my clinic. She's been tortured by hegemony forces. Her wings are badly damaged and I don't think I can fix them." Cross frowned. "An elf? That's unusual. They almost never leave their territory." "That's not the biggest problem," Maya continued. "The wing technology is unlike anything I've seen. It's not just mechanical or biological. It's something else entirely." Cross stood up and walked to the window that looked out into space. "Maya, you know the rules. We don't get involved in military matters. If the hegemony was interrogating her, she was probably a spy or soldier." "I don't care what she was," Maya said firmly. "She's dying and I'm a doctor. I have to try to help her. Even if you could fix her wings, which you probably can't, it would cause political problems. Both empires watch this station closely. If they think we're helping their enemies—" Maya interrupted her. "So I should just let her die?" Cross sighed. "I'm not saying that. I'm saying be careful. Don't do anything that will bring trouble to the station." Maya nodded and returned to her clinic. The elf was awake now, though still very weak. Her green eyes followed Maya as she entered the room. "Where am I?" the elf asked in a soft voice. "You're safe. Maya replied. "This is Haven's Rest. I'm Dr. Maya Stone. What's your name?" "Zarathiel," the elf said. She tried to sit up but winced in pain. "My wing, is it—" Maya sat down next to the bed. "I won't lie to you. It's badly damaged. The left wing is completely gone, and the right one has serious injuries to both the organic and technological components." Zarathiel closed her eyes. "Then I am finished. Without my wings, I cannot return home. I cannot fulfill my mission." "What was your mission?" Maya asked gently. "I was gathering information about both empires' military movements. My people need to know if the war will spread to our territories." Zarathiel opened her eyes again. "But it doesn't matter now. No one can repair elf wing technology. Even our own healers said it was impossible." Maya studied the damaged wing again. The glowing parts were getting dimmer, which she guessed was not a good sign. But as she looked closer, she began to see patterns in how the biological and technological parts connected. "Maybe it's not impossible," Maya said quietly. "Maybe it just needs a different approach." Zarathiel looked at her with surprise. "You think you can fix it?" "I don't know yet, but I'd like to try. Will you let me study your wing more closely? I promise I won't do anything without asking you first." For the first time since arriving, Zarathiel smiled slightly. "You are very different from what I expected from humans. Yes, you may try. But you should know that many great healers have failed." Maya smiled back. "Well, I'm not a great healer. I'm just stubborn." As the station's artificial night cycle began, Maya started her research. She scanned the wing with every piece of equipment she had. She took samples of the glowing fluid and analyzed the strange metal components. What she found amazed her. The wing wasn't just a tool for flying, it was connected to Zarathiel's nervous system in ways that seemed impossible. The technology responded to thoughts, emotions, and even dreams. Maya worked through the night, reading everything she could find about elf physiology and ancient technologies. Most of the information was incomplete or theoretical, but slowly, she began to understand. The wing technology was older than both warring empires. It was from a time when different species worked together instead of fighting. The elves had somehow preserved this ancient knowledge. As dawn approached, Maya had an idea. It was crazy and dangerous, but it might work. She would need to combine human medical technology with principles she was only beginning to understand. But first, she needed to convince Zarathiel to trust her with something that had never been attempted before. Maya spent the next morning explaining her idea to Zarathiel. She had discovered that the wing's technology worked by reading neural patterns and emotional energy. The damaged parts weren't responding because the connections were broken. "I think I can create artificial neural pathways using nano-mesh technology," Maya said, showing Zarathiel her research on a tablet. "It's experimental, but it might restore the connection between your nervous system and the wing." Zarathiel looked at the complex diagrams on the screen. "You learned all this in one night?" "I had help from the station's computer database. Plus, I've been studying alien biology for years. Your wing technology follows some of the same principles I've seen in other species, just much more advanced." Maya pulled up another screen showing the nano-mesh design. These tiny robots would integrate with both your organic tissue and the technological components. They would act like new nerves, carrying signals between your brain and the wing. "It sounds dangerous," Zarathiel said. "It is dangerous," Maya admitted. "I've never tried anything like this before. If something goes wrong, it could kill you. But without treatment, the wing will continue to deteriorate anyway." Zarathiel was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "In my culture, we believe that everything happens for a reason. Perhaps I was brought here so you could attempt this impossible thing. You're willing to try it?" "Yes. But first you should know something about elf wing technology. It doesn't just help us fly. It connects us to what you might call the energy of life itself. If you succeed in repairing it, the wing might become more powerful than it was before." Maya didn't fully understand what Zarathiel meant, but she nodded. "We'll deal with whatever happens. Right now, let's focus on keeping you alive." Maya spent the next 2 days preparing for the procedure. She modified her nano-mesh design. 17 times trying to account for every variable she could think of. She also had to build new equipment, since nothing in her clinic was designed for this kind of surgery. On the third day, alarms began ringing throughout the station. Maya looked up from her work as Commander Cross's voice came over the intercom. All personnel, this is the commander. We have incoming ships from both the Hegemony and the Void Empire. Everyone remain calm and continue normal activities. Maya felt her heart racing. She looked at Zarathiel, who had gone pale. They found me, Zarathiel said. Both empires must have been tracking me. Maya checked the station's external cameras on her computer. 2 large ships were approaching Haven's Rest. One had the bug-like design of the Hegemony. The other looked like it was made of black metal with sharp edges, typical of the Void Empire. How long until they dock? Maya asked. Maybe an hour, Zarathiel replied, reading the display. They will demand that I be handed over to them. Maya made a quick decision. Then we do the surgery now. Now? But you said you needed more time to prepare. I'll have to work with what I have. It's better than letting them take you. Maya quickly gathered her equipment and began setting up the operating area. She gave Zarathiel medicine to make her sleep and started the procedure. The surgery was more complex than anything Maya had ever attempted. She had to carefully place thousands of tiny nanorobots along the damaged neural pathways. Each one had to be programmed to interface with both biological tissue and the mysterious elf technology. As she worked, Maya could feel the station shaking slightly. The alien ships had docked, and she could hear voices in the corridors outside. Some sounded like the clicking language of the Hegemony. Others were the harsh growls of the Void Empire. Maya tried to ignore the sounds and focus on her work. The nano-mesh was integrating with Zarathiel's wing better than she had hoped. The organic tissue was accepting the artificial neural pathways, and the technological components were starting to respond. Suddenly, the clinic door opened. Commander Cross entered with 2 aliens following her. One was a Hegemony representative with 4 arms and compound eyes. The other was from the Void Empire, tall and covered in dark scales. Dr. Stone, Cross said in a tense voice, these are Ambassador Cassandra from the Hegemony and General Nick Zara from the Void Empire. They want to speak with your patient. Maya didn't look up from the surgery. She's unconscious and in critical condition. Any interruption could kill her. The bug-like alien, Cassandra, spoke in a translated voice. The elf is a spy who has stolen military secrets from both our empires. She must be handed over immediately. The elf belongs to the Void Empire now, the reptilian Nixara growled. We captured her first. Your forces failed to hold her, Cassandra replied. She escaped and continued her spying activities against us. Maya finally looked up from the operating table. She's not going anywhere. She's dying, and I'm trying to save her life. Human, you do not understand, Nixara said. This elf has information that could affect the balance of our war. She cannot be allowed to escape again. Then you'll have to wait until she recovers, Maya said firmly. I'm a doctor, and my patient comes first. Cassandra moved closer to the operating table. What are you doing to her? This procedure is not in any medical database. Maya continued working as she spoke. I'm attempting to repair her wing using experimental nanotechnology. It's never been tried before. Both aliens looked shocked. Nixara spoke first. Wing repair is impossible. Even elf healers cannot fix damaged wing technology. Maybe they've been trying the wrong approach, Maya said. She was nearly finished with the nano-mesh placement. Sometimes an outside perspective helps. Just as Maya completed the last connection, something unexpected happened. The wing began to glow much brighter than before. The light was not the soft blue it had been, but a brilliant white that filled the entire room. Zarathiel's eyes opened. Suddenly, though she should have been unconscious for hours more. She sat up on the operating table and her repaired wing stretched out behind her. But it was different now. The wing seemed to shimmer with energy, and the air around it appeared. To bend slightly, what have you done? Zarathiel asked, staring at her wing in amazement. Maya was just as surprised as everyone else. I'm not sure. The nanomesh integrated better than I expected. How do you feel? Zarathiel stood up carefully. As she did, her wing moved in ways That defied physics. It seemed to phase in and out of reality, and small sparks of energy danced along its surface. I feel different, stronger. The wing is not just repaired, it's enhanced. Zarathiel looked at Maya with wonder. You've awakened something that has been sleeping in elf genetic memory for thousands of years. Cassandra and Nixara both stepped back. This is not possible, Cassandra said. No species should have access to enhancement technology. Nixara pulled out a weapon. The elf must be destroyed. This level of enhancement threatens the balance of power. But before Nixara could fire, Zarathiel simply vanished. She reappeared instantly behind the reptilian general and gently touched her arm. Nixara's weapon dissolved into harmless particles. I do not wish to fight you, Zarathiel said calmly. But I will not allow you to harm Dr. Stone. Cassandra tried to activate a communication device, probably to call for backup. But the device simply stopped working when Zarathiel looked at it. Your technology cannot function properly near me now, Zarathiel explained. The enhancement has given me abilities I am only beginning to understand. Maya stared in amazement. Her experimental procedure had worked far better than she had ever imagined. But she was also worried about what this meant for everyone involved. Commander Cross, who had been silent during the confrontation, finally spoke. I think we need to discuss this situation calmly. Ambassador Cassandra, General Nixara, would you be willing to talk instead of fight? Both aliens looked at each other, then at Zarathiel's glowing wing. They seemed to realize that their usual threats would not work in this situation. We will listen, Cassandra said carefully, but this changes everything. Our empires must know what has happened here. Maya realized that her simple medical procedure had just created a major galactic incident. But as she looked at Zarathiel, healthy and strong again, she knew she had made the right choice. Whatever happened next, at least she had saved a life. Sometimes that was the most important thing a person could do. The next few hours were tense. Zarathiel stayed in Maya's clinic, testing her new abilities while the two alien representatives argued with Commander Cross about what to do. Maya watched in fascination as Zarathiel discovered what her enhanced wing could accomplish. I can see energy patterns I never noticed before, Zarathiel said, moving her wing slightly. The air around it shimmered like heat waves. Every living thing glows with its own unique light. Technology has different patterns, too. Maya took out her medical scanner to record what was happening. Can you control these new abilities? I think so. Watch this. Zarathiel focused on a broken medical device sitting on Maya's desk. Her wing glowed brighter, and suddenly the device began working again. I can understand how things are supposed to function and help them remember. Maya's eyes widened. You just repaired that scanner with your mind. Not exactly with my mind, with something deeper. The enhancement you gave me has awakened genetic memories from my ancestors. They knew secrets about how energy and matter interact. From the corridor outside, they could hear voices getting louder. Cassandra and Nixara were both demanding to contact their respective empires. Commander Cross was trying to maintain diplomatic calm, but it wasn't working well. Dr. Stone, Cross's voice came over the intercom. Please come to conference room 2. Bring your patient if she's able to move. Maya looked at Zarathiel. Are you ready for this? I suppose we have no choice. But Maya, before we go, you should understand something important. What you've done here will change more than just my life. Both empires have technology based on incomplete understanding of ancient principles. If they realize what's possible, they'll want to control it, Maya finished, or destroy it if they can't control it. Maya and Zarathiel walked to the conference room together. As they entered, Maya could see that both alien representatives looked nervous. Cassandra's compound eyes kept focusing on Zarathiel's wing, while Nixara maintained a defensive posture. Dr. Stone, Commander Cross began. Ambassador, Cassandra and General Nixara have some questions about your procedure. Cassandra spoke first. Human doctor, you must explain exactly what you did. This level of enhancement should not be possible with known technology. I combined human nanomesh technology with principles I observed in elf wing design, Maya explained. The nanorobots created new neural pathways that allowed better integration between biological and technological components. That is impossible, Nixara said flatly. Our scientists have studied captured elf technology for decades. It cannot be enhanced. Zarathiel stepped forward. Your scientists were looking at it wrong. They tried to copy the technology without understanding the deeper principles behind it. To demonstrate, Zarathiel gestured toward a wall display showing star maps. The display suddenly came alive with new information, showing energy flows and connections between star systems that had never been detected before. Ancient elf technology was designed to work with life energy itself, Zarathiel continued. Dr. Stone's nano-mesh allowed my wing to access genetic memories that have been dormant for thousands of years. Both alien representatives stared at the enhanced star map. Maya could see them calculating what this meant for their empire's ongoing war. If this enhancement can be replicated, Cassandra said slowly, it would upset the balance of power throughout the galaxy. That's exactly why it must be contained, Nixara replied. No single species should have access to such abilities. Maya felt angry. This isn't about power or control. I was trying to save someone's life. Your intentions may have been good. Human, Nixara said. But the results are too dangerous. The elf must come with us for study. Actually, Zarathiel said calmly, I don't think either of your empires understands what you're dealing with. Before anyone could react, Zarathiel's wing moved in a complex pattern. Suddenly, all the technology in the room began behaving strangely. The lights flickered, the wall displays showed impossible images, and both aliens' communication devices started playing music instead of working normally. What are you doing? Cross asked, though she seemed more amazed than worried. I'm showing them that their technology is more fragile than they think, Zarathiel replied. The enhancement doesn't just make me stronger. It lets me understand how artificial systems really work, including how to disrupt them gently. Cassandra tried to activate an emergency beacon, but it transformed into a small flower instead. Nixara reached for her weapon, but it had become soft and flexible like rubber. This is not possible, Nixara said, staring at her deformed weapon. Your empires have forgotten that technology and life energy are connected, Zarathiel explained. You build machines that fight against natural forces instead of working with them. That makes them vulnerable to someone who understands the deeper patterns. Maya watched in amazement as Zarathiel demonstrated ability after ability. She could make broken things work, redirect energy flows, and even seem to disappear and reappear in different parts of the room. The ancient elves knew these secrets, Zarathiel continued. They shared them with other species and helped everyone grow stronger together. But when the wars began, most of this knowledge was lost. You're saying this technology could work for other species too? Maya asked. With the right adaptations, yes. Your nano-mesh provides the key. It can help other beings access their own hidden potential. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. Maya realized she had accidentally discovered something that could change galactic civilization. Cassandra was the first to speak. Both empires must be informed immediately. This discovery is too important to remain secret. I agree, Nixara said. Though for once, the hegemony and I want the same thing for different reasons. Commander Cross looked worried. If both empires decide this is a threat, they might unite against us. Haven's Rest can't defend itself against their combined fleets. They won't attack immediately, Zarathiel said. They'll want to study the situation first. That gives us some time. Time for what? Maya asked. To decide what we're going to do with this knowledge. Should it remain secret? Should it be shared freely? Should it be controlled by governments? Maya thought about all the refugees she had treated over the years. People running from wars, fleeing oppression, seeking basic medical care that their own societies couldn't or wouldn't provide. If this technology can help people, then people should have access to it, Maya said firmly. Not just the powerful, empires. That's very idealistic, Dr. Stone, Cross said. But it might not be practical. Both empires have massive militaries. If they decide you're a threat, then we'll deal with that when it happens, Maya replied. But I won't hide knowledge that could help suffering people just because it makes politicians nervous. Zarathiel smiled. You truly are remarkable. Maya Stone. Most people would be thinking about how to profit from this discovery or how to protect themselves. You're thinking about how to help others. Over the next few hours, representatives from both empires returned to their ships to report to their superiors. Maya could see them through the station's windows, probably sending long, encrypted messages about what they had witnessed. "What do you think will happen?" Maya asked Zarathiel as they watched the alien ships. "Both empires will want to control this technology. They'll probably try to capture both of us, study your nanomesh design, and use it to enhance their own forces. Will they succeed?" Zarathiel's wing glowed softly. "Not the way they expect. This isn't just technology that can be copied. It requires understanding, cooperation, and respect for life energy. Those are things both empires have forgotten in their quest for power." Maya spent the evening documenting everything she had learned about the enhancement process. If something happened to her, she wanted other doctors to be able to continue the work. As she wrote, she thought about the choice ahead of her. She could probably hide her research and live quietly, or she could try to share it with others who might benefit. The second choice was dangerous, but it felt right. Late that night, as the station's artificial day cycle ended, Maya made her decision. Tomorrow, she would begin adapting her nanomesh technology for other species. If both empires wanted to study her work, she would give them something truly worth studying. She just hoped she would live long enough to see the results. 3 days after the alien representatives left, strange things began happening all over the galaxy. News reports reached Haven's Rest about unexplained phenomena on both empire worlds. Hegemony scientists reported that their most advanced computers were displaying impossible data. Void Empire military bases found their weapon systems randomly playing music instead of targeting enemies. Maya was in her clinic, working on new nano-mesh designs, when Commander Cross burst through the door. "Maya, we have a problem. Long range. Sensors show massive fleets from both empires heading this way. They'll be here in 2 days. Zarathiel, who had been helping Maya with her research, looked up from a tablet covered in complex diagrams. "How massive?" "Combined, they're bringing over 300 ships. It's the largest military force assembled in galactic history." Cross sat down heavily. "They're not coming to talk this time." Maya felt her stomach drop. "They want to capture us for study, or destroy us to prevent the technology from spreading further," Cross replied. "My intelligence contacts say both empires' high commands are terrified. They think you've created some kind of super weapon." "It's not a weapon," Maya protested. "It's medical technology designed to help people. Tell that to their war councils," Cross said grimly. Over the next day, something unexpected happened. Ships began arriving at Haven's Rest, but they weren't from the two empires. Refugee vessels from dozens of different species approached the station. Word had somehow spread about Maya's breakthrough. The first ship carried a delegation of Thorian, miners whose planet had been strip-mined by the hegemony. Their leader, a small, rock-like being named Crix, spoke to Maya in broken galactic standard. "We hear human doctor make impossible healing. Our people suffer from radiation poisoning for generations. Empire scientists say cannot be fixed. You try help us?" Maya examined Crix and his companions. The radiation had damaged their cellular structure in ways that conventional medicine couldn't repair, but she could see patterns that her enhanced understanding might address. "I can try," Maya said, "but it will require modifying my nanomesh design for your species' biology." The next ship brought a group of aquatic Zephyrians whose water worlds had been polluted by Void Empire weapons testing. Their representative, a graceful being with fins and gills, explained their situation. "Our healing songs no longer work. The poison in our waters has disrupted our natural abilities. Can your technology restore what we have lost?" Maya worked frantically to adapt her nanomesh for different alien biologies. Each species required a unique approach, but Zarathiel's knowledge of ancient enhancement principles helped guide the modifications. As more ships arrived, Maya realized she was looking at representatives from every oppressed species in the galaxy. They had all heard rumors about the human miracle worker and traveled across space for a chance at healing. "This is incredible," Maya said to Zarathiel as they worked in the clinic that had expanded into several rooms. "I never imagined the technology could help so many different kinds of life." "Ancient elf knowledge was always meant to be shared," Zarathiel replied. "My ancestors believed that all species were connected and could help each other grow stronger." By the time the Empire fleets arrived, Maya had successfully enhanced representatives from 12 different species. Each one gained abilities that went beyond simple healing. The Thorians could now resist radiation and even purify contaminated areas. The Zephyrians had recovered their healing songs and made them more powerful than ever. Commander Cross watched the approaching fleets on her command center displays. Both empires are here. They've positioned their ships to surround the station. We're receiving demands for your immediate surrender. Maya looked around at all the beings she had helped. Some were still recovering from their enhancement procedures, but others were already demonstrating incredible new abilities. She made a decision that surprised everyone, including herself. Tell them we'll meet with their commanders, but not to surrender, to negotiate. Maya, you can't negotiate with 300 warships, Cross said. Maybe I can't, but we can. Maya gestured to the enhanced beings around her. They came here looking for healing, but they found something more. They found hope. Zarathiel understood immediately. You want to show the empires what cooperation can accomplish. Exactly. Both empires rule through fear and intimidation. They've forgotten that diversity makes civilization stronger, not weaker. The next few hours were tense as both empire fleets took position around Haven's Rest, but instead of attacking immediately, they sent shuttles with diplomatic teams. Maya suspected they wanted to see her technology in person before deciding whether to destroy it. The meeting took place in the station's largest conference room. Representatives from both empires sat across from Maya and her growing group of enhanced allies. The contrast was striking. The Empire delegates wore military uniforms and carried weapons. Maya's group included beings of many different shapes and sizes, all glowing slightly with the energy of their enhancements. Admiral Vextar from the Void Empire spoke first. Dr. Stone, you have created a dangerous situation. This enhancement technology threatens the stability of galactic civilization. How does helping people threaten stability? Maya asked. Because, Admiral Vextar replied, you have given inferior species abilities that rival our own. This disrupts the natural order. High Commander Zixthal from the Hegemony agreed. Both empires have maintained peace through strength for centuries. Your technology could lead to chaos and rebellion. Maya stood up, feeling calmer than she expected. You call centuries of war and oppression peace? You strip mine planets, poison oceans, and use smaller species as slaves. That's not peace. That's tyranny. You don't understand the complexities of galactic governance. Zixthal clicked disapprovingly. Crix, the Thorian miner, suddenly spoke up. We understand. You take our world, make us sick, say nothing can fix. Human doctor fix in one day. Empire protection make things worse, not better. Other enhanced beings began sharing their stories. Each one described how the empires had harmed their people and offered no real help. Maya realized she was witnessing something historic. For the first time in centuries, oppressed species were speaking truth to power without fear. Zarathiel addressed both admirals directly. Your empires built their strength by limiting others. You hoarded knowledge and technology to maintain control. But true strength comes from cooperation and shared growth. Pretty words, Admiral Vextar growled. But power is what matters in the real galaxy. Then let me show you what real power looks like, Maya said. She gave a signal to her enhanced allies. Together, they focused their abilities on the conference room's technology. Suddenly, the Empire representatives' weapons became harmless. Their communication devices began broadcasting messages of peace instead of military commands. Even their uniforms changed color to soft, calming hues. What are you doing? Zixthal demanded, though her voice sounded less threatening than before. We're showing you that your technology only works because people choose to let it work, Maya explained. Every ship in your fleets, every weapon, every computer system depends on cooperation from the beings who built and maintain them. As if, to prove her point, reports began coming in from both fleets. Ship after ship reported that their weapon systems were malfunctioning. Not broken, just refusing to target anything. Their engines still worked. Their life support functioned normally, but anything designed to cause harm had simply stopped working. This is impossible, Admiral Vextar said, though he looked more amazed than angry. No, Zarathiel replied. This is what happens when you remember that technology and life are connected. Your ships are not rebelling. They're simply remembering their original purpose, to explore the galaxy and protect life, not to destroy it. Maya looked at the two military leaders who had come to capture or kill her. You have a choice now. You can try to maintain control through fear and force, but that's getting harder every day. Or you can choose to work with the species you've been oppressing and discover what you might accomplish together. The room fell silent, except for the soft humming of enhanced beings sharing energy. Maya had just challenged two galactic empires to abandon everything they thought they knew about power. She hoped they were wise enough to listen. The standoff lasted 3 tense hours. Both Empire fleets hung motionless around Haven's Rest, while their admirals tried to understand what had happened to their weapons. Maya used the time to explain her nanomesh technology to anyone willing to listen. The enhancement doesn't create new abilities, Maya told the gathered representatives. It awakens potential that was already there. Every species has unique gifts that have been suppressed or forgotten. Admiral Vex Tar studied the readings on his tablet. Our fleet engineers report that the weapon systems are physically undamaged. They simply refuse to function as weapons. Because your crews don't really want to fight, Zarathiel explained. Deep down, most beings prefer creation to destruction. The enhancement helps technology respond to those deeper desires instead of just surface commands. High Commander Zixthal looked frustrated. This is ridiculous. Weapons are tools. They don't have desires. Everything has some level of consciousness, replied Naya, one of the Zephyrians Maya had enhanced. Her voice carried harmonics that seemed to resonate through the room. Your empires forgot this truth long ago. Maya watched the two military leaders struggle with concepts that challenged everything they believed. She could see fear in their eyes, but also curiosity. They were soldiers, but they were also intelligent beings who had begun to realize their old ways might not work anymore. Commander Cross received another report from the fleet communications. Both Empire fleets are reporting the same phenomena throughout their ships. Weapons won't work, but all other systems are functioning better than normal. Some ships are showing engine efficiency improvements of over 30%. That makes sense, Maya said. When technology works with natural forces instead of against them, everything becomes more efficient. Suddenly, new ships appeared on the long-range sensors. But these weren't military vessels. They were civilian ships from Empire worlds, carrying representatives from species that had served both the Hegemony and Void Empire for generations. What's happening? Admiral Vex Tar demanded. Commander Cross checked her communications. We're receiving messages from all over the galaxy. Word has spread about what happened here. Civilian populations from both empires are demanding to meet with Dr. Stone. Over the next few hours, more ships arrived. Maya found herself meeting with beings she had only read about in textbooks. There were crystalline entities from the Hegemony's core worlds, silicon-based life forms from Void Empire mining colonies, and energy beings who had been enslaved to power Imperial technology. Each group had the same request. Could Maya's enhancement technology help them reclaim abilities their species had lost under Imperial rule? Maya worked with Zarathiel and her growing team of enhanced allies to develop new variations of the nanomesh. The work was exhausting but rewarding. With each successful enhancement, another species regained powers they had forgotten they possessed. The crystalline beings could suddenly communicate across vast distances without technology. The silicon-based miners discovered they could reshape matter at the molecular level. The energy beings found they could exist independently instead of being trapped in Imperial machines. As word spread, something unexpected happened. Empire citizens began refusing orders that harmed other species. Hegemony scientists started sharing research instead of hoarding it. Void Empire soldiers began protecting civilians instead of intimidating them. This is unprecedented, Admiral Vex Tar reported to his superiors. We have a galaxy-wide rebellion, but it's not violent. People are simply choosing cooperation over conflict. Maya overheard the transmission and smiled. It's not a rebellion. It's an evolution. 3 days after the fleets arrived, both admirals received new orders from their home governments. Maya watched as they read their messages with expressions of disbelief. What do they say? Commander Cross asked. My Empire's High Council wants to negotiate a ceasefire with the Void Empire, High Commander Zixthal said slowly. They say continued fighting is impossible. Admiral Vextar nodded grimly. Our war tribunal has reached the same conclusion. When your soldiers won't fight and your weapons won't work, war becomes pointless. Maya felt a surge of hope. So what happens now? Now we try something that hasn't been attempted in over 500 years, Admiral Vextar said. We try to make peace. The peace negotiations took place on Haven's Rest over the following weeks. Maya found herself serving as an unofficial mediator, helping both sides understand how enhanced cooperation could benefit everyone. The treaty they eventually signed was unlike anything in galactic history. Instead of one empire conquering the other, both sides agreed to transform into something new, a cooperative federation where all species had equal voices. Maya's nanomesh technology became freely available to any species that wanted it. But there was a condition. The enhancement only worked for beings who genuinely wanted to help others. Those who sought power for selfish reasons found that the technology simply didn't respond to them. It's a built-in safeguard, Maya explained, to the new Federation Council. The enhancement amplifies what's already in someone's heart. If they truly care about others, they gain the ability to help. If they only care about themselves, nothing happens. Months later, Maya stood in her expanded clinic, now called the Center for Galactic Healing. She watched as beings from dozens of species worked together, sharing knowledge and abilities that had been hidden for centuries. Zarathiel approached, her enhanced wing glowing softly. Do you ever regret what you started? Maya considered the question. The galaxy was certainly more chaotic now. Old power structures had collapsed, and new forms of cooperation were still being figured out. But she looked around at all the healed beings, the cooperation between former enemies, and the hope in everyone's eyes. No, Maya said finally. I became a doctor to help people. I just never imagined I'd end up helping an entire galaxy. Outside, the station's windows, ships from dozens of species traveled together through space. Some were exploring new worlds cooperatively. Others were working to repair damage from centuries of war. All of them carried enhanced beings who had learned to work with life energy instead of against it. Cassiandra, the former Hegemony ambassador, now served as a Federation coordinator. She visited the clinic regularly to learn about new enhancement techniques. Nick Zara, the former Void Empire general, had become a peacekeeping officer who helped resolve conflicts without violence. Both aliens had discovered that cooperation was more satisfying than conquest. Maya returned to her work, designing new nanomesh, variants for species she had never encountered before. Each day brought new challenges and new possibilities for healing. As she worked, she reflected on how it had all started, a simple decision to help one injured elf. Maya had fixed Zarathiel's wing, but in doing so, she had also fixed something broken in galactic civilization itself. The empires that had once ruled through fear and force now worked together in harmony. Their fleets, which had come to destroy Haven's Rest, now served as exploration and rescue vessels. Their weapons had been transformed into tools for building and healing. Throughout the galaxy, beings who had forgotten their own potential were remembering what they could accomplish. When they worked together, the enhancement technology continued to spread, but only to those who would use it wisely. Maya smiled as she watched Zarathiel demonstrate a new ability to a group of young beings from various species. The elf could now heal psychological wounds, as well as physical ones, helping others overcome trauma and fear. It occurred to Maya that the greatest enhancement of all wasn't technological. It was the simple recognition that every being in the galaxy had value and potential. Once people truly believed that, everything else became possible. The galaxy was no longer divided between the powerful and the powerless. Instead, it had become a community where everyone could contribute their unique gifts to the greater good. And it had all started because one human doctor refused to accept that something was impossible to fix. The Empire fleets still floated silently around Haven's Rest, but now they served as guardians rather than threats. Their weapons remained permanently offline, transformed by the collective will of beings who had chosen peace over war. Maya had fixed Zarathiel's wing, and in return, The galaxy had learned to fly together toward a better future.